Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I know I haven't been posting for a couple of weeks now, but to paraphrase Dr. Malcolm, life gets in the way. But I am back. It has been a little bit hectic just with the clashes between MotoGP and F1. I am actually working with a couple of F1 drivers now. I did get a new job in October, so I've moved house, moved job, moved completely different area of the country. So life's been a little bit hectic, so it's going to be a little bit difficult trying to get regular content out, but if you just bear with me, I will do my best. But anyway, it's been two amazing last few races. So we'll just jump straight into it, and if you want to see who are my winners, losers and surprises from both Portugal and Jerez, stay tuned and keep watching. So first up we have Moto 3, and it's going to be no shock to anyone that watches Moto 3, my winner has got to be Pedro Acosta. I'm running out of adjectives to describe this kid. I mean, at 16, I was definitely not this fantastic and record-breaking, that's for sure. But 3 back-to-back wins in his rookie season, I mean, I can't even describe it. He wasn't even particularly on my radar when he came into it for testing. He didn't seem to be blowing anyone out of the water, and yet here we are. He's leading the championship, and I can't even describe it. He is absolutely phenomenal, absolutely incredible, and I can't wait to see what he can do, because if he's not in a Moto 2 seat next year, I am going to be so annoyed. Like, could you imagine what that kid can do on like a Red Bull KTM IO bike? It'll be incredible. I can't wait, and I can't wait to see what he can do for the rest of the season. I mean, 3 back-to-back wins. I can't really remember the last time someone did that wasn't Mark. He's gonna be something to watch, and I can't wait to see how he develops over the coming years, and even over the coming races, because he just seems to get better and better as the season unfolds. I have nothing else to say, because he's going to keep being in this winning category if he keeps on performing the way that he is. So I'll move on to losers. Unfortunately, in my losers category this week, it has to be Jaume Masia. So it was a really unfortunate Jerez race for him, with him being taken out by Deniz Onju, and it wasn't actually his fault, but you have to look at the fact that unfortunately compared to his teammate, who is a rookie and is setting the world alight, Masia has kind of gone back to what he always does, and has that singular fantastic result like he did in the opening race in Qatar, where he got the victory, and then he's gone back to not really doing anything. So he's had 2 9th place finishes since Qatar, which isn't something that most turn their nose up to. But when you've come into this year and you are one of the championship contenders, it's not something you'll be taking lightly, especially going up against someone like Pedro Acosta as your teammate. But he just, I don't know what it is. He doesn't seem, maybe it is just because I'm comparing him to his teammate, and it's difficult to compare to someone who is of Acosta's standard. But I've been so underwhelmed by Masia, and I actually have been for the past few years. Like, even when he went into Leopard Racing, he had that really inconsistent streak that continued, and the only consistency that he has at the minute, and I hope it changes, and I hope he proves me wrong, but the only consistent thing about him is how inconsistent he is. I hope that it changes. I hope that he regroups and comes into Le Mans and is on the podium again, or fighting at the front. Obviously he was fighting in the front in Jerez, and that was one of the reasons why he got taken out, but you need to do more than just be fighting in the leading group in Moto3, because the leading group's 15 people. The leading group is all of the points in the end. So I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he comes back and has regrouped, has found something, and can be back to winning form. I just don't hold out a lot of hope, unfortunately. For my surprise of the last couple of weeks, it's got to be Jason Pasquier. So Bristol I'd kind of written off after, obviously I've said this in previous videos, I'd written off after Bez left, and even when Cornfile retired, and they had, like, because they did get points for Cornfile, but he was another one that was so inconsistent that you couldn't really count on him to be taking them back to where they were with Bezzecchi. So it's amazing to see them consistently in the points with De Pasquier. So in the last 4 races, De Pasquier has actually been in the points for all of them. He's been in the top 15 for all of them. And in Jerez, he got his best career finish of 7th. So he's really finding his feet, and he's only in his 2nd year. So I hope this is the start of something great for De Pasquier, and that he's going to be able to be constantly in the points, because it'll be lovely to see the likes of Bristol back in the top, back in the sharp end of the pack. So he's hoping. You never know with Moto3, it's so painful, would be the nicest way to put it. Moving on to Moto2, so my winners for Moto2 have got to be Red Bull, KTM, IO. So they are currently leading the World Championship with Remy Gardner. They are actually 1 and 3. Going into Jerez, they were 1 and 2 with Remy and Raul Fernandez. But after Jerez, they have moved to 1 and 3. So Portugal was amazing. Raul, in his 3rd race as a rookie in Moto2, got the victory. I was ecstatic, to say the least, because have such a soft spot for Raul. But they're like, I'm kind of astounded by Red Bull this year. Obviously we kind of got, you'd expect someone, an outfit like Red Bull, to be producing the talents, but for the last couple of years they seem to have been quite hit and miss with who they've had. They've had Jorge Martin and Tetsu, and both of them were quite inconsistent, should we say. Hit and miss, however you want to put it. But then you've come into this year and they've had almost like a complete overhaul of riders, and they've got Remy and they've got Raul, and they've come into it and they've been at the front in the leading pack on the podium for pretty much all 4 races so far. Jerez being the anomaly where they were 4th and 5th. So it's not exactly a bad track record so far. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they go for the rest of the year. I would love to see Remy get a victory with Red Bull. I would love to see Raul get more victories with Red Bull. So I guess we just wait and see. With my losers, unfortunately it's gonna have to go to Hector Garzo. I'm so underwhelmed by Garzo this year. Like, at the back end of 2020, he seemed to have got his stuff together, and he's gone backwards. So it was a DNF in Jerez for him, and before that in Portugal was an 8th place finish, which is not what we kind of went into the back end of 2020 expecting from Garzo, who had finished on the podium in Valencia. You were expecting him to be fighting in the points at the front and be up there as a championship contender, and he's just not. Like, I don't know what's happened. I'll be interested to see if Sito has any tips for him, maybe a bit of tough love to get him through the rest of the season. I don't know. I hope it improves for Hector, because he is a nice guy. I mean, I say this about all of them, they're nice guys, and I'd hate to see him cast out after one poor season. As for my surprise of Moto2, it's gotta be Digia. So that first podium in Qatar was beautiful. There's no other way of describing it. It was beautiful. Doing it for Fausto was just, in the first race back after his death, it was just incredible. And then he just kind of was nowhere. He was 10th and 11th in the next 2 races, and it was a bit like, oh okay, it was flash in the pan. And then he comes back in Jerez and gets victory. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I'm very happy that he did it, because Digia's such a likeable guy. I mean, if you don't like Digia, you don't like puppies. It's as simple as that. So, yeah. I'm wondering kind of where that's come from. If it is just he didn't like conditions in the second Qatar race or Portugal and things just fell into place in Jerez. I don't know. I'm very happy, but he's definitely on my surprise list for this week. The winners have got to be Ducati, especially Jack Miller. I even brought out my top for it. Planned. So it's been quite a tough start to the year for Ducati, and especially for Jack. So that victory in Jerez and that 1-2 in Jerez was just exactly what they needed. Not only to boost the confidence of Jack, but also to boost the team, because now they've got Pecco, who is leading the World Championship. They're kind of back to where they rightfully should have been from the very start. They're back as one of the main contenders, which I'm thrilled about. I love to see Ducati fighting at the front. Who doesn't? yeah, it seemed like a bit of almost like an anomaly at the start of the year, and I was really concerned with how things were going and how much they seemed to be struggling, especially Jack going into this year. He needed that boost from Jerez, he needed that victory, and yeah, I've got nothing else to say, but I was so happy. I cried at the interviews. I don't think there was a dry eye in the house. And if you say that you didn't cry at Jack's little interview with Simon, then you have a heart stone. And that's all I'm saying on that matter. Moving on to the losers of MotoGP, it's actually an Alex ×2 affair. I have Alex Marquez and Alex Rins. So it's been a pretty tough few weeks for Alex Marquez, and for Alex Rins, to be honest. But Alex Marquez has had multiple crashes, as both of the LCR boys have. But Alex didn't even make it past lap 1. And it's so unfortunate because he did, in his rookie year, when he was with Repsol, he was doing so well, and he almost seemed to get along with the Repsol Honda better than he is the LCR Honda, which absolutely blows my mind. Like, how? The amount of people that have got on the LCR at the Repsol and said it's pretty much only made for Mark, it's a difficult bike to ride, this, that and the other. But Alex seemed to be more suited to that bike than he is the satellite one. I feel bad for him because he's come from having podiums in his rookie year to barely finishing a race, or not being in the points in a race, and crashing pretty much every weekend or every session. It's really sad. And the same goes for Alex Rins. Like, Alex came into this being a championship contender along with his teammate Joan Mir. And Alex has had a DNF in Portugal, where he crashed by himself, and a crash in Jerez where he did actually rejoin but finished in 20th. And it's not what you need when you are going into it and you're wanting to be fighting for the World Championship. And not just that, you also want to be defending Suzuki being world champions. And at the minute, it's just not happening. At the minute, as much as Joan struggles with qualifying, he's the only one that is bringing in the points. You can't have a team that is run specifically on the back of one rider. Unless you're Repsol Honda with Marc Marquez when he was fully fit in 2019 and back. It doesn't work. Like, you just can't. I'm sorry. So I hope that he can get it together and regroup and come back for Le Mans and the rest of the season with more confidence and be able to get some points, get some podiums, get some victories. I really do hope he can, because at the minute it's just not looking good, unfortunately. As for my MotoGP surprise, it has got to be Aleix Espargaro. Like, I'm amazed. You always look at the Aprilia, especially over the last few years, you look at the Aprilia and it's that bike that no one wants to ride because it's so hard to ride and it's always at the back of the grid. And Aleix has finished in the points for the last 4 races, including getting 6th in Jerez. What is happening? What is happening? This is like one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. I'm really happy that Aleix has finally been given a bike that suits him and he can perform on, especially after his little Twitter spat with Jorge Lorenzo, because I'm almost happy that he's getting to silence people, silence his critics, silence Jorge in a manner. I hope that I can't wait for the day that Aleix gets a podium. Touch wood. I can't wait. It's going to be just phenomenal, and it will be the best and biggest thank you and celebration of the hard work that Fausto put into that team as well. I can't wait. I have full support of Aleix to be the one that gets that Aprilia onto the podium. Just hope he doesn't let me down now I've said that. So that is my winners, losers and surprises from Jerez and slightly from Portugal. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you are enjoying my videos, and drop me a comment down below with who your winners, losers and surprises were from Jerez and as well from Portugal, as well as any suggestions for any future videos. If you have any ideas or any requests, I am always open. I will also put my socials down below if you would like to follow me on the likes of Twitter and Instagram. I should be back with another video after Le Mans. It doesn't clash with F1, which is handy. But for now,